Are you an HR manager or a hiring manager with a new hire? Great, then you're in the right place. In the next 5 minutes or so, you'll get a tour of the first section of the New Become Corning, the orientation guide. We want you to come away from this little video with a clear sense of the content that your new hires experience and the type of activities they perform. First, we'll zoom in on this guide. There's a separate little video tour of each section of the program. Okay, in the orientation guide, new hires are welcomed by regional learning leaders and one-to-weeks, and they quickly get to the personal orientation guide document. Let's take a look at that. The personal orientation guide document is essentially a master checklist. It gives the learners a summary of what they're going to be doing in each week, each month of the 6-month program, how many hours to set aside, what badges they will earn, how many points that equates to. This is at a high level, and then it goes into a detailed level week by week. What are each and every piece of it? Let me check it off as I go along. Some people like to print things out. This was requested specifically in our pilot. They are also able to see their progress within the module itself, and we'll show you that in a second. So that is the orientation guide document. As you can expect, the progress made by the learners in their points and badges is all reported back to you as their managers in the progress reports that you'll get every 2 weeks after they start the program. So let's look a little bit further how to use this site. The learners get an introduction by Christy, a little bit more about how they're earning points. What does this all mean? What content gets what amount of credit? So content and reports and videos, of which there are several expert videos. They get 5 points for reviewing that, 10 points for answering quiz questions, 25 for important discussions, and the big ones are the activities we'll show you an example of where they get 100 points each. So that's how to use the site. Who's onboarding with me? They get more introductions to the people that will appear throughout the course and are driven to meeting their peers on the blue line. There's a new blue community created just for new hires where they get started here and have to come back for further activities. And then they get a guidance on getting a work buddy from Monica. So that's the welcome section. Let's look a little bit more closely at month 1 so we can see some activity examples. In month 1, like all of these sections, they are introduced, they get an overview of what they're doing, what are the badges to earn this month, some guidance on how to be successful on conducting their activities. And let's look at an activity quickly. Introduce yourself is one of the easiest activities to get them moving and going. As you can guess, they're guided through a series of steps to introduce themselves, to write something about themselves and share it. We can see that 55 other of their colleagues have done their introductions and have shared them. And let's take a quick look at what that looks like. These are the typical field reports that are the output of every activity. New hires get to produce their own and see what everybody else is doing and thinking as well. So that's a typical activity. And when they complete many of these activities, they get badges. They'll see their badges in 2 places. A little alert, you just earned your introduce yourself badge. And then they can go to their progress report to see the bigger picture of how much progress they've made in terms of points, in terms of badges. You can see here 130 points, that's just started, got my first badge, introduce yourself. Terrific. Okay, going back to the orientation, There is a section for each month to set those expectations. I won't go into all of them here, but as you can imagine, consistently they're set up with the checklist, the tips, the badges they'll earn, and then at the end they can come back and reflect on it, give some feedback on that experience for that month. Okay, so from here, when they're done, they'd go back to the home page and start getting into the true meat and content of the program. There is another video for each one of these sections. This concludes the orientation guide tour. You can go ahead and close this out and take another one.